Lavender. I want to talk today about lavender and how it's been used as a relaxation and sleeping herb for centuries. It's grown all around the world, originally in Europe and now even in countries like Australia. It's used in food with lovely things like this lavender and thyme sorbet or this chocolate and lavender fudge. The ancient Egyptians used it, and there's documentation from at least 2,500 years ago where it was used for mummification and for perfume. The ancient Greeks used it to fight insomnia and for backaches. Romans used it for cooking, for bathing, for perfume, and in fact, the word lavender comes from the Latin lavere, which means to wash. They also recognised its antiseptic properties. It is said that they took it with them when they expanded the empire. Whether it was the Romans that took it to Britain, but it was definitely documented in Britain and in the Middle East during Roman times. In medieval France, the women that were paid to wash were called lavandiers because they used lavender in the washing and also put the clothes on lavender bushes. Lavender's been used in my family for generations. I'm 60 and the smell of lavender still reminds me of my grandmother's place. We've all used it to help us sleep. We've all used it with muscular pains. And none of us had ever thought to ask, does this really work? Not until my granddaughter come along and said, Grandma, can you just show me some proof? Or is this just a placebo effect? So I decided to check on the internet and have a look and see if there were any studies done. Well, the interesting part was there was actually a wide range of studies from all sorts of different places. At the end of this, I've actually listed the full bibliography of all the studies that I looked at. The types of studies that I looked at included wound healing to sleep disorders, anxiety, short-term memory. There have been at least dozens and dozens of studies, and I just picked this 15 just as a cross-section of what there was out there. Also, the studies come from all over the world, from Canada, the Middle East, Europe, Asia. Everybody seems to be interested in what lavender can do for them. Most of the studies were performed on people, except for a few of them. The one on Alzheimer's, wound healing, irritable bowel, those ones are actually done on rats. All of the studies had a control group, and most of the studies were actually double-blind. So this is a good scientific method to prove that lavender either does or does not help us. Well, the results showed consistently that lavender does help reduce stress, anxiety, and sleep disorders. Most of the other studies showed some results, some positive results, with the wound healing ones and the memory ones, helping memory ones, were the ones that showed the least difference in the results. All the rest showed consistently, statistically beneficial use of lavender. Here's again another summary of the studies and the results that were shown. Again, the wound healing and the irritable bowel showed short-term improvement, but over the long term, there was no real difference. The memory enhancement, the only improvement there was with visual images. But the rest of them, the post-operative pain, the nausea, the anxiety, and the sleep disorders, all of them showed significant statistical improvement with the lavender groups over the control groups. So lavender really does help with pain reduction and sleep disorders and anxiety. And now I've got the proof to show my granddaughter. And there's another generation of women in our family using lavender to help them. So the next slide is a copy of is a reference of all the studies that I looked at, and hopefully if you want to have a look at them, you can as well. Thank you for listening.